Hello everyone, this is Rajat Kumar V, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, Gupta College. I am here to talk about second PUC accountancy last minute revision classes. Before getting into the subject, let me tell you a thought. Everyone has a desire to win, but only the champions have the desire to prepare. So I will help you with how to prepare for your upcoming exams and become a champion in it. Before getting into the preparations, let me talk about the exam pattern. So your question paper will have 5 sections, section A, B, C, D, and E. So section A contains 12 questions, 1 mark each, out of which you're gonna write only 8 questions. So you got a 4 choices. Next, section B, you'll be given with 8 questions, out of which you're gonna write only 5. Each carries 2 marks. So you're gonna score 10 marks. And section C, you will be given with 8 questions, out of which you're gonna write only 4. So you're gonna score with 24 marks. And section D, you'll be given with 8 questions, each carries 12 marks, and you're gonna write only the 4. Here, you're gonna score the maximum marks in your exam, that is 48. And section E, which is a very easy one, you'll be given with 4 questions, you're supposed to write only 2, and you're gonna score 10 marks because it carries only 5 marks each. And your whole question paper will be given for 192 marks, and out of which you're supposed to score only 100. So aim for the 100. If you're aiming for the 100, then you're to prepare at least for 130 marks. Then, so the syllabus, the accountancy has been divided into 2 parts. First part is not-for-profit organization and partnership accounting, and the second part is company accounts and analysis of financial statements. So we all know that the accountancy syllabus, whatever you have studied till now, it has been divided into 2 parts. First one is not-for-profit organization and partnership accounting, where now we'll look into the chapter-wise mark distribution. That is part 1. Here, chapter 1 contains for 15 marks, chapter 2 contains for 15 marks, and chapter 3, it is 16 marks, and chapter 4, it is 26 marks, and chapter 5, it is 14 marks. So here, all over in the part 1, we are going to get for 86 marks, okay? And the next part, that is part 2, where the chapter 1 is for 15 marks, chapter 2 is for 19 marks, chapter 3 is for 9 marks, and chapter 4 is for 15, and chapter 5 for 19, and chapter 6 will be for 9 marks. Here, again, we are going to get 86 marks in this chapter also. You may ask me a question. So, 86 plus 86, it is only the 172. Whereas the other 20 marks, you said for 192. But the other 20 marks is your POQ questions. So, POQ questions, you will be given with 4 questions. So, 4 into 5, it is 20. So, the all over for the accountancy, we are going to get 192 mark question paper, out of which, as I said, we need to score only for 100. Yes. Next, well, look into how to prepare for the exam. I have divided the exam preparation into 4 steps. That is, step 1 is target 48 with section D, and target 10 with section E, and target 24 in section C, and final ultimate is target centum. See, when you see this target 48, it is a clean sweep pass for you, right? When we learn the target 48, that is from the section D, which contains only target 48, which contains only the section D problems. Okay, so now let's look into section D questions to score 48 marks. So the first one is preparation of income and expenditure account and balance sheet of an NPO. Here you will be given with one balance sheet and the receipt and payment of account of an not-for-profit organization, along with some adjustments. You have to solve this problem where you can score only 12 marks. Okay, then second problem is preparation of revaluation account, partners capital account, and balance sheet of the admissions. So here they'll give you a problem related to how to treat the accounts when we have a new partner into our business. So we are going to prepare a revaluation account, partners capital account, and balance sheet which is for again 12 marks. I suggest you that you need to learn this chapter or this problem. Very important, because this is a quite easier problem. Then preparation of revaluation account, partner's capital account, and balance sheet after retirement of a partner. Even this is a very easy. When you learn the admission, the retirement is too easy, because both are the similar type problems. So when you learn admission, I can guarantee that you will be getting it 2 questions short. We can score 24 marks. Then fourth one is preparation of realization account, partner's capital account, and cash or bank account. Those accounting, where when the business is being closed down, we are shutting down the business, how to close the accounts. Here we are going to learn it. And even I can tell this is also a very easy problem when we learn the admission, retirement, the similar type one. So I suggest even you need to look into this part. Next, passing journal entry relating to issue of shares at par, premium, discount, and forfeiture and reissue of shares. This is a very easy. I can tell that out of the whole syllabus, there's the only problem which we can blindly attempt, because we have only the 9 journal entries, which we can look into, and we can just bahad it and we can just omit it on the paper. The thing what is going to change us, only the numericals, the numbers, the number of shares and the price of the shares. That's all. Then the sixth one, passing journal entries relating to the terms and conditions of issue and redemption of debentures and any 4 situations. They are going to ask you 4 situations. We know that issue of debentures at par and redeemed at premium, issue of debentures at premium, redeemed at premium, issue of debentures at par, redeemed at par, etc. We have totally 6 cases, out of which they may ask 4 cases, or they may ask journal entries related to the interest on redemption of debentures, interest of debenture or redemption of debentures, only the lump sum method. Okay, I suggest that you may just ignore the chapter for because it has a lot many problems which would create a lot of confusion. So I suggest you to keep those aside. Next, preparation of comparative common size statements. Even those are quite easier one. Only when we learn the formats and the formula to calculate this comparative and common size, you will be given with the 2 years balance sheet or income statement, which you're going to compare and do a comparative statement, and you're going to calculate the common size statement also by using a simple formula. Okay, last one is calculation of activity and profitability ratios. They are going to ask you 3 activity ratios and 3 profitability ratios. Usually they would ask inventory turnover ratio and trade receivable turnover ratio, trade payable turnover ratio, and in case of profitability, they have usually asked us gross profit, net profit, operating cost, and they may ask you what EPS, BPS, or price earning ratio. Okay, so these are all the section D problems, out of which I suggest only 5 problems. You need to practice it very well. Okay, first one is admission, second one is retirement, third one is dissolution problem, that is a realization of partners capital and cash or bank account, and fourth is issue of shares. Very important. You can't just leave this question. Okay, last one is profitability and activity ratios, which we are gonna learn only with the formulas. Hardly we have around 14 to 15 formulas in this activity and profitability ratio, so we can just remember and we can do it. Clear? Now moving forward, we'll move to the target 2, that is for 10 marks. Okay, here we are going to look into the POQ, that is last part of your question paper, the sections E. They are going to ask you 4 POQs. These are the POQs or the practical oriented questions, are the given questions. Okay, you have totally 15 questions in your syllabus, out of which they are going to ask any 4. Okay, so out of 4, again you're going to write only for the 2 questions. Okay, so these are the things like we can just tell the criteria. There are criteria out of which we can select the POQs. First one is, first POQ would be asked from serial number 1 to 5. I will show you the list of POQs in the next slides. So they are going to ask first question from serial number 1 to 5, and second question from serial number 6 to 8, and the third question from serial number 9 to 11, and the fourth POQ from serial number 12 to 15. So you may decide which are the POQs or which set I can read and I can remember. Okay, I suggest you to go with first set compulsorily, because in the set I'll just show you now. Yeah, in the first set we have classify the following items into capital and revenue. This question belongs to the chapter 1, not for profit organization, right? So here they will give you 5 items or 5 transactions, or you need to just classify whether this transaction belongs to capital or revenue. That's all. Clear? Next. Second question is, prepare receipt and payment account for an NPO using 5 imaginary figures. So when you look into your question paper, anyway, your 12-mark question will be for a not-for-profit organization. The same question will contain the receipt and payment account. You can just copy it on the same thing there. Okay. Next. Third question. How do you treat the following in the absence of partnership deed? That is, they are going to give you profit sharing ratio, interest on capital, interest on drawings, interest on advance from partners, remuneration to partners for firm work. We know all the 5 answers. That is, when there is no partnership deed, the profit sharing ratio will be equal. When there is no partnership deed, interest on capital will not be allowed. When there is no partnership deed, interest on drawings are not gonna allowed. Then only when we have advances or a loan from the partners, we are gonna charge 6% interest per annum. Then last one is remuneration to partners work for firm's work. So here the no remuneration will be provided for any of the partners when there is no partnership deed. Okay. Next. Fourth one, write 2 partner current account and a fixed capital system with 5 imaginary figures. And fifth one is write 2 partner capital account and a fluctuating capital system with 5 imaginary figures. Both are the similar type of questions. The only change here is when you learn the fluctuating, you're gonna write by balance brought down. In case of fixed capital system, you're not going to write by balance brought down. Apart that, everything remains same with both the answers. Clear? So I suggest to go with set 1 for 1 question. Clear? Then set 2, write profit and loss appropriation account of a firm with 5 imaginary figures. So anyway, you're going to prepare a 6-mark question, which is a compulsory one. We'll go to it later. Okay. So P&L appropriation account will be written as an answer in your answer script. Anyway, the same thing you can copy down here again. Then prepare executor loan account with imaginary figures showing the repayment in 2 annual equal installments along with interest. So here you're supposed to show an account where you're going to pay the executor, the one, a legal representative for a deceased partner. You're going to show the installments payable to him along with the interest for the 2 years. Okay, you should be very careful while doing this question. Then third one is give the disclosure requirement pertaining to share capital in the notes of accounts of balance sheet of a company with imaginary figures. So we should show how the share capital should be disclosed in the final accounts. Okay, we know that the share capital will be divided into authorized capital, issued capital, subscribed capital, paid up capital, right? We have to show all this, and we need to show how it should be presented in the final accounts. Then the set 3, write the pro forma balance sheet of a company with main heads only. We are supposed to write only the pro forma. You are not supposed to write the imaginary figures here. You should be very careful while reading the question. Okay, we are supposed to write pro forma or with imaginary figures. Only pro forma. When it is given a pro forma, you are supposed to write x, x, x. Okay. So we know the vertical format of balance sheet. The balance sheet will be divided into 2 parts: equity and liability and asset, right? So we are gonna write using the major heads only. Okay. Then Next question. Prepare statement of profit and loss of a company in a vertical format with 5 imaginary figures and 5 main heads. So we know the main heads: revenue from operation, other income, total income, expenses, profit before tax, tax, profit after tax. Using these 7 items, we are supposed to write a statement of profit and loss with 5 imaginary figures, or minimum of 5 imaginary figures. Maybe you may write all the 7 also. It is up to you. Okay. So minimum 5 you need to write. Next, name the major heads under which the following items will be presented in the balance sheet of a company. So you'll be given with the 5 items in the of a balance sheet. You're supposed to write where these items will be taken place or find their place in the balance sheet. Okay. If I tell short-term investment, it is shown under the current asset. If I tell equity share capital, it is shown under shareholder fund. If I tell debenture redemption reserve, it is shown under the shareholder fund. Like this, they will give you an item. You're supposed to write it and which head it is gonna fall. Next, set 4. Prepare comparative statement of profit and loss with 5 imaginary figures. So we are gonna write the comparative statement with of a profit and loss with 5 imaginary figures. Okay, and a common size. Again, the same format. We are gonna use a simple formula, that is all the items will be divided with the revenue from operations, and we are gonna write the percentages here. Okay, the common size. Second one. Third one is write the pro forma of cash flow from operating activities under direct method. Okay, so we have a format for a direct method. We all would have studied, that is cash received from debtors like this, and cash paid to the suppliers and employees like this. We have format which we are gonna write it, and you're gonna write XXX because they have clearly mentioned it is a pro forma. And fourth one, it is classify the following cash flow activities into operating, investing, and financing as per AS3. So here we are gonna write. They are gonna ask you what the 5 activities. You're gonna classify these activities into operating, investing, and financing. For example, they may ask purchase of building. Purchase of building is an investing activity, right? So we are gonna write investing activity. If there is issue of shares, then it is a financing activity. If there is dividend paid, then it is a financing activity. If the tax paid, it is a operating activity. So we are gonna write operating activity like this. Clear?